All right. I got my talking now. I'll be in the middle here. Thank you, Dila. Thank you, John, for your kind toasts. Really appreciate it. I wanted to take some notes and make sure I had say everything just right, because this is a great night, and of course I want it to be perfect, but so I wanted to say everything I wanted to say. And so let me try to get through it here. First of all, I wanted to thank everyone, and as Dila said, a lot of people came from very far. Papa Basuki said the same thing. We really appreciate everyone coming in. My family coming in from the United States, Nadine's family coming in from the Netherlands, Oma traveling by herself at 85 years old. That's very impressive, and we're very thankful for that. Thank you very much. I also want to thank, Nadine and I both want to thank the team that has put on this show. They're in the background here, but Mbak Ferli, the greatest wedding planner in Indonesia, our friends here at the Green Village, Ibu Herdi, the incredible decorator, Coming in the band, and everyone else who played a major role making this night happen. Thank you very much. This truly was a year in the making, so thank you. And finally, as far as my thanks, is my personal thanks to Ibu Karen and Tanya and Nadine, of course, who welcomed me into the family, and Daniel. We certainly now have an Indonesian family, so thank you very much. It's been very kind of you. I feel very, very at home with you. Thank you. So, when Nadine and I started planning this meeting, planning this meeting.
Good time. Yes, good time.
Started planning this little get-together. We wanted to keep it small. Indonesian weddings are typically 1,000 people, or even bigger sometimes. We want to have something around 100 people. That's what our ideal number is. But what I didn't take into account were two things. One, how beautiful Nadine is, and how everyone wants to see what Miss Earth Indonesia is wearing for her.
Yes!
She looks beautiful. Yeah, don't hate me on that one. That's okay. And I guess the other thing was, I know a lot of her friends and family wanted to see who did Nadine Zamira end up with. I don't know how many of you had a big boule from America in the lottery, but here I am, and I couldn't be more pleased. So let me say a little bit about when we first got together and we told everyone that we're engaged. Of course, the obvious question was, how did this happen? What's the story? How did you guys get together? And I want to share a little bit about the story, and I'll try to keep it short. It's not a short story, but I'll keep it short, and I'll give you my version because I have the microphone, so you can hear Nadine's later. But it was 4 years ago that I first saw or met Nadine in 2012. It was a U.S. Embassy event. I was managing, and Nadine was the substitute master of ceremony, and the former ambassador was there, and I was supposed to be attending to him and telling to who's who. But once I heard Nadine speak in this American accent and looked over and saw this beautiful, a little bit nervous woman, a beautiful girl, I was mesmerized, and certainly forgot all the duties I was supposed to be taking into account. But after the event, I wanted to go talk to her, and I had my nice Hugo Boss suit on, and my Ferragamo tie. I figured I could not possibly look any better. So I went over to her, and she saw me coming. She says a mile away, and she said, "Oh boy, here comes this guy. He's going to ask for my phone number, sure enough." And so I go over there, and when she told me she was an environmentalist, this is not her day job. What she didn't take into account is that I also pretend to be an environmentalist. So I asked her, I said, well, maybe we could have a meeting and talk about environmental issues in Indonesia. I really like to learn a little bit more. So we had a lunch meeting, and she brought two other guys. So it was, she certainly saw
one of them is
that.
there.
Masagus was one of them. So she saw through that, and that was the end of that liaison. Fast forward another year, and as most of you know, Nadine is a huge player in trying to promote parks here in Indonesia, in Jakarta in particular. And I read an article about her park activism, and I said, oh, that's Nadine Zamira. I should send her a message and tell her congratulations on her work. And I did, and I asked for another environmental discussion meeting, and this time she accepted, and we had a one-on-one meeting this time, and long story short there, things progressed very quickly. Unfortunately, the timing wasn't right for us, and after a short few months, things fell apart, and it didn't stick. But that's, again, this is the short story. So, fast forward, let's see, I would say things didn't stick, but Nadine certainly stuck in my mind. I knew this wasn't a short liaison, get together. This was really meaningful for both of us, and I was trying to understand how do we make this work. My friends had told me, don't worry about it, move on. We won't say which ones. One of them even slapped me around, but it said, Brian, forget about it. But there were the friends that also said, no, if you really want her, you have to fight for her. You have to stick for her. So that was an ongoing process, and by the time I was thinking maybe it's time for me to move on, there was a chance encounter with Eagle Karen at a work event, at an agriculture event, talking about palm oil of all places. And she came up to me, she said, Brian, you probably don't remember me, but I'm Nadine's mother. I said, oh, okay. And so I was a bit flustered after that, and then she came up to me and she said, Brian, don't give up on Nadine. Hey.
Yes.
So I said to myself, well, if Nadine's mother wants this to happen, how could this not possibly happen? Fast forward from there, a couple months later, there was an opportunity for social entrepreneurship scholarship in Seattle that I saw on the U.S. Embassy website, and I said, this would be perfect for Nadine. So I back-channeled it to Nadine's mom, to Eagle Karen. Eagle Karen passed it on to Nadine and said, this would be perfect for you, not saying that this is from Brian. And of course, she got the scholarship, and those 2 weeks in America were, let's say, was the formula that opened up the door for us to get together. And so again, the short story, that's how we ended up where we are today. I'm happy to share some more details. So anyways, it was a beautiful marriage in the making, and that's where we are today. So let me kind of wrap things up here and say that when I think about that time when I didn't have Nadine, and I lost the love of what I thought was my life, and now that I know that, it hurts, but it's nice to remember it and realize how lucky I am today. My mom, when she met Nadine, she said, Brian, you're one lucky boy. And she didn't say it like, Brian, she's really charming, you're a lucky boy. She said, Brian, you're one lucky boy. So, I know it was very special. So here I am, the lucky boy that ended up with Nadine Zamira.
I am the lucky boy.
No, You've enchanted me since the day I met you 4 years ago. Except today you're more beautiful than you were, and you turned out to be smarter and more charming than I could have ever imagined. And you challenge me every day to be a better person, and I love you for that. My reward is that I get to kiss you every day. So thank you for that. So, in closing, I guess my toast to Nadine. I have a short poem. It's actually not my poem, but one of the few poems I've ever memorized. And it goes like this. Wine comes in at the mouth. Love comes in at the eye. That's all we should know for truth before we grow old and die. I lift this glass to my lips. I look at you and sigh. To Nadine's Americanism.
Please raise your glass to Brian and Nadine one more time, everyone. Good times.